Charles has asked me to say a few words, and I'm very happy to do so. I'm here tonight because I'm at exactly the 1 year on point from when I contracted my Bell's palsy, and Charles very kindly helped me out with my follow-up article, which I think you've seen flashing up on the screens during an earlier part of this evening. It was a real pleasure to be asked because I think it's really very, very important what this charity is doing. I noticed when I first got my Bell's palsy that there's two things out there on the internet: a huge amount of information and very little good information. So I think the sort of stuff you guys are able to do here is really very, very important. I decided very early on that I would continue broadcasting, partly because I had no choice. I work in Shanghai for the BBC. I am living there with my wife and 2 daughters. We earn our money that way, and Yvonne, my wife, is here tonight, and she'll remember very well those grim first few days when we really didn't know what it was, how to deal with it, what it was going to mean for all sorts of things, not least my career being on camera. But what I think I can perhaps usefully say tonight is that once I did decide to carry on and be on camera, I think it really helped. And I was speaking to Alison tonight, who was saying that through her illness she had written a blog and how much that helped. And I think somehow for me, the thing I really feared about having facial palsy in the first few days was being pitied. I hated the idea of people feeling sorry for me about it and having to explain to everybody I met. And by chance, really, because of the job I do, I discovered that if you just tell everybody online and in every possible way you can, it makes it all so much easier. So it was a kind of coping mechanism for me. It left me with some slightly difficult issues. I write about it in this recent article. I found it very difficult with the eye issue, being on camera, because of course I was constantly winking at the audience when I had one eye totally stuck open, and I was left with two choices, two choices basically, to either continue winking or to stare like a kind of manic sort of axe murderer. And I actually went for the manic axe murderer at the time. Somehow it seemed easy. With hindsight, my wife said to me, you should relax, just, it's what it is, you should wink. But these things are really difficult. And a few funny moments, I right at the sort of a couple of weeks after the onset, when the palsy was at its really most noticeable, I got sent to Korea because there was a big sort of flare-up in the Korean story, and there was this big standoff with North Korea and America, and I can remember sort of staring into the camera, trying not to wink, and the presenter at the other end asked me, with no sense, obviously complete coincidence, but he said to me, "John, who's going to blink first here? North Korea or the Americans?" I was so close to saying, well, it's not going to be me. So there's all that sort of thing. But I think I said earlier how important it is that this sort of stuff is done. I was speaking tonight to another fellow Bell's palsy sufferer who was telling me that 5 years on from the birth of her child, she has not yet been able to have a single family photograph. And when I think about that, I can't think of many illnesses that could have that kind of an impact on families. It's extraordinary when you think about it. So I think the idea that the medical profession, the public at large, should know more about this, there should be raised awareness, I think is brilliant. And I think it's a real credit to what you're trying to do. So thank you. Thank you all very much.